Have you ever felt stuck in a life or business that just doesn't fit who you really are? Today, we are exploring what it takes to truly shift your identity and break through personal and professional limitations. For many of us, there is the pressure to specialize in just one thing, the struggle to rebuild confidence after big moves or setbacks, and the stress of carrying old mindsets that no longer serve us. Add in the anxiety, self-doubt, and the challenge of finding your purpose, and it can feel overwhelming to make lasting change. Joining me today is Alexandra Terrey, international entrepreneur and creator of the CEB Method. Alexandra blends neuroscience, biology, and emotional fitness to help people unlock their highest potential. In this episode, we'll talk through her inspiring global journey, her mindset tools, and her daily practices for emotional clarity. Expect practical steps you can use to reconnect with your purpose and lead with authenticity every day. So with that, let me introduce you to my guest today. With 20 years of international business experience as a founder across Slovakia, Thailand, the Caribbean, and Australia. And I thought I made my way around. Alex is the founder of CEB Method and Neuro Identity Shift, a pioneering approach to mastering mindset and emotional fitness to bring purposeful visions to life. So you equip people with techniques and practical tools to break through limitation, connect with their genius zone, and unlock their highest potential. So my audience already knows why I brought you on. Alex blends neuroscience, biology, emotional fitness, energy work, breath work, and mindset coaching to drive lasting personal and professional transformation. Through immersive retreats and experiences, you facilitate connection, guide individuals to rewrite their identity, and align them with their purpose to lead with authenticity and clarity. And yeah, anybody and everybody that has been around for just a couple of episodes knows exactly why I wanted to have you on, because I love that connection of all the things where it's like, right, everybody always tells us, oh yeah, we are supposed to be specializing on one thing. I'm like, yeah, but that thing touches that thing and touches that thing and is connected to that thing.
Oh yeah, I can't do that one. I can't do focus on one thing.
So I'm curious. Did little Alex think she's going to end up in Australia after doing all these things and doing what you do today?
Well, not probably doing, but funny enough, when I was 6, my mom once said that we are going to escape communist regime and we're going to Australia. And from that day, I had probably for a year, I had dreams about Australia, and I was playing the tennis. I saw this beautiful house with all these people in the house. And there was this beautiful beach. I had never been around the sea that time when I was 6, but I just had it in my dreams. So it started kind of there, and I was very disappointed when we didn't escape. So I was this super sad child that just had this big dream to go to Australia. And it disappeared, of course. You know, over the years, I totally forgot about that, but it actually was there.
I love it. So how did you find your way finally into Australia?
Yeah, so I wasn't actually heading to Australia. So what happened, I had 10 years my business in Slovakia. So I was running my company, and it was very strange after communism, and, you know, next 20 years was very, very weird. Everybody just wanted money. Everybody just wanted everything. And a lot of people get very, very, very fast rich. And I was working for them. I was doing some great events, amazing stuff. And it was incredible. Even when I talk about that today, people are like, oh, wow, like that's amazing. You know, birthday parties, they cost €1 million that time. You know, it was crazy. But the behavior and expectations for me as a woman there was, if you are not going to sleep with this guy, you actually, you know, you will not get another event. I was like, I honestly have enough. Like, I have enough of this. I'm sure there is better world somewhere else, right? So I packed my stuff and I decided to open a coffee shop in Thailand. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to sell my business and I'm going to move. So I did it actually in like a month or two. I just packed my stuff, sold my business, and I'm now in Phuket in Thailand looking around. It's like, what am I going to do there? It's like, what did I do? So there was the moment when I realized I was following the intuition. I was so brave. I went there, but when I came there, I was so lost. So I was like, wow, this can't work. Like, I don't know the language. I have no idea where to go. Where do I want to have coffee shop? So it was interesting for 3 months just to kind of finding the ground and understanding how the business is done, because there was a lot of foreigners having their shops. So I was like, I'm going to ask everyone. So I was just going to ask people. I was like, oh, you are the owner of the shop, with my broken English, because English wasn't that great at the time as well. So it was so funny, but I ended up opening up a coffee shop, and it was great. Like, I met so many beautiful people there. I stayed there for 3 years. I just loved that. Like, it was nice, but it was the style of, Tom Cruise mixing the cocktails on the beach. And I was like, this is getting boring. Like, it's cool. It's really cool life. Like, it's nice. You can make money. You can live there. You can close and open anytime you want. It's not really much rules there. So it was really like easy life, right? And everybody came to visit me. So that was amazing. I met so many friends again. Everybody came for holidays, so I was like showing them around. So I had so much fun, but I felt there is no enough stimulation. There is not enough people that want to, achieve something. And I started to miss that a lot. So I was like, okay, so what is on the other side of the world? So I took the map and I was like, exactly other side is Caribbean. So I'm going there. So
I love how you make that decision. What's exactly the opposite? Oh, the Caribbean. Let's go to the Caribbean. Sure, why not?
I was like, what is the next step, right? I was like, I don't know. And it was more at that time, at that age, of, I don't know, 30s, you are like, what is cool? It's like Caribbean sounds cool. so, so yeah, I sold the coffee shop and I moved to Caribbean and started kind of like a tourism business. So I just started to contact all tourist agencies in Europe and just started to work around and just try to make money, basically. So I did stand-up paddle tours and a few different things, water sports, so anything that kind of came up, and started to build up the company. But it was too boring. There was like a next level of boring, because there was no one on the island. There was like 5+ people, no joking. There was probably a little bit more, probably 1,000. And there was no public transport because it's a small island. So you were basically driving with a car 47 kilometers and hitchhiking people. You just basically stop everywhere and you just took everyone who wanted to go to the town. So it was, again, like really extreme experience. And yeah, and then I met, of course, is the man always. We always said everyone who came to Australia is a man.
We're like, yeah, I
Right.
kind of know something about that.
And it was funny enough, like, because I met someone in Thailand, I was like, nah, that's okay. I'm just going to live my life, and I left and we didn't really stay in touch. But we kind of got back together when I got back from Caribbean. And yeah, we just started to chat for another year. And then decision was made. Like, you moving to Europe when you don't get a job, when you get a job, I moved to Australia. So we made a deal and he got a job. And I didn't want to move. That is funny thing. I really didn't want to move because he was like, we're going to Perth. And I was like, no, I don't want to go to I was like, that's not the place I choose in my dreams. So it was tough.
I love that. And this is one of the reasons why I love this question so much. It's like, you never know the story that's going to come. And it's always fun. Looking at that story, looking at the bravery, the conviction, the strength it takes to just be like, I'm not doing this anymore, right? And yes, some of my listeners, she might be, I like the peace in Thailand and just running a coffee shop. I feel connected to you. I don't know if that's a European thing or if that comes back from the communism. Who the heck knows where it's coming from? I can take a break and I can have simple. And then there is something where I'm like, I want to be challenged. I want to have that certain engagement. So, I know where you're coming from. But also, if I'm done with something, I'm done with something. we're
Yeah, exactly.
changing this, right? So it's like I'm sitting here, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm looking at a mirror right now with less
Uh,
pit stops in between.
uh, I would
Now,
love your story.
talking about those mindset shifts and all the stuff, your approach centers all around Neuro Identity Shift and your CEB method, right? We already mentioned that. Can you walk us through how these frameworks help entrepreneurs break through their limitation and unlock their highest potential? Because I'm pretty sure in your journey you broke through quite a few limitations and limiting beliefs too.
So it was the life that I described by now. It was this perfect life, right? Like I was brave, I was confident, I guess. I trusted myself. I think that the simple thing that I trusted my gut, I trusted myself. I felt things. I was like, I want this, I'm going to do it. I want this, I'm going to do it. You know, it was very easy to make decisions. But when I moved to Perth, it was strange because I couldn't find a job. I didn't know what I'm going to do because it wasn't my decision to move there. It was almost like I just followed someone, right? So it was really tough and I lost myself for so many years. And it was, I couldn't believe it. I was different personality. That's why I'm talking about identity shift, because I became a person that I didn't recognize. I lost all confidence. I wasn't sure what I want, who I am. I was bitter. I was angry. I was frustrated because I sent thousands of CVs and nobody even called me. So, you know, I didn't know how the recruitment works in Australia. So that was really tough. And then I was like, money. I lost all basically everything from the businesses I make after 2 years. You know, it slowly disappears because life in Australia is quite expensive. So I was kind of looking at it like, what am I going to do? Like, I like nobody values my skills here or what is happening, and I put it on me, like I'm the bad one. But it was actually not true. But I didn't see it at that time, right? It was just so many things together, right? Like not the right visa, you know, people didn't want to put you in a higher position with that visa. So it was always something, but I didn't have a chance to know. And I started business. I didn't make first year money because it was more volunteering. And after volunteering for one organization, I was like, you know what, this is my proposal. I will continue with you guys, but I want to be paid for it. So I slowly moved into like paid. So I started to make money. And then I was like, oh, of course, it's business. I always wanted to have business, but I didn't understand why I even tried to find a job. So my whole personality kind of broke down. Then I was followed by some psycho. Then 3 times someone tried to break into house. Then I had ectopic pregnancy. Then I had so many miscarriages because of IVFs. So all my life, personal, business, you know, having the security and for us women, it's now important to be able to be free and independent, right? And I always had that. So I lost that. That was my identity. I didn't want to depend on anyone, right? That's what I learned when I was young. So for me, all that just break down as a, you know, house from cards, and it was just gone. And yeah, I felt super sad and I had anxiety, fears, and it was stuck in my body. So I was like, one day I was just looking at me and I was looking at my husband, and he was actually my mirror because he put 16 kilos on the weight. I was like, wow, like he's a big guy now. And he was a professional athlete, right? So I was like, wow, who is doing this? Usually woman does that, right? Because we have massive influence on men. But then I learned we have all influence on each other. So I started to study more psychology and neuroscience and coaching, everything, like what you can imagine, because I said, I just want to get out of this. And the first thing I thought, naturally, this came just as an intuition. I was like, body is our thing, because when you feel good, you're much better, right? Like you're happier. So I was like, let's do 4 months challenge. We're going to lose the weight, you know, let's do powders and whatever I don't know what we drink. It was probably very bad, but it was good for diet, right? And I never did it before. So I was like, let's do it. Oh, wow. And I see this man and he's 16 kilos lighter and he's happier. And I was like, wow, but I'm happy. So I started to rebuild myself and I started to understand that when you are stuck in fear, you can't feel gratitude, you can't feel joy, you can't feel, you know, happiness, nothing, right? You can't feel trust, you can't feel, you can't be courageous, right? Like you want to have courage, but you can't because you're scared. So that all fear was in my body, and I was frozen. I couldn't sleep nights. It was terrible. So I think having that, and start to created the method, because I started to work with emotions, and I was like, mindset doesn't work. So what am I going to do, right? Like I can't just be happy and have positive mind. So I started to rebuild that, and I realized that our emotions, when we focus on our emotions, but not like, well, how am I feeling? But it's more about, oh, when I think this, I actually feel that. So I started to be like, oh, but I don't want to think about how somebody's breaking in the house right now, because that is not true. That's my story. So what if I will change the story? And I started to change the story to, oh my gosh, I was so free when I was in Greece, on the beach, and I was alone. I was traveling every weekend in Europe. That was amazing time. And I just feel this warmth. That was like, wow, I was so proud that I made it myself. Like I didn't need anyone. I just made it, right? And that happiness, that feeling of, oh my gosh, like I did it, right? So that actually created different emotions, and something's changed in my body. And I practiced that every day until the fear disappeared. I never felt that type of fear ever again. And that's already 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So I realized we can change. We can change the environment that we have inside. So I dive into biology and neuroscience because of that, because I was like, I need to understand what happened in my body. How do I explain this to people? Like what changed? It's like they will look at me like, oh, you just thought about the holiday? I was like, it wasn't that. Yeah, so I learned. So I started to explain the method the way that when you change the story, or when you focus on the story, what happened, you can be on side of happiness and joy and, compassion and gratitude, or you can be on side of stress and, the crunch energy, the stress from money we all have, right? Like that stress, it's almost like you can feel it in your stomach, you can feel it in your body. But what happened? It's the fight or flight mode, right? And I was like, wow. So we actually, with our thoughts, take ourselves to fight or flight, and we can't function because we don't use our intellect properly, because we just want to fight or flight or run or freeze or whatever they talk about now. But it's funny how I realized that made me sick, and I developed 21 food allergies, because your organs don't get nutrition, right? Because the blood is just pumped into your muscles, and hormones and neurotransmitters, they are released from your brain. It's crazy. It's like a chemical. It's like you put a bomb in your body and you expect to be healthy, right? And then when I changed the story, I felt the chemicals. I felt like my body is changing, and it was warm and nice, and you start to heal. I have no one food allergy. I have no all the struggles what we have from stress, constipation. The feeling sick all the time, can't eat. Even when you eat a little portion of the food, you feel sick. That is all from stress, or most of that. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving anyone medical advice, but most of that is stuck because everything is in solar plexus and we crunch, and we are living on this stressed energy we don't even notice. And that was amazing when I realized that.
And it's interesting you bring up the change of focus and the change of the storytelling. I have a client right now actually that I'm working with, where we discovered the habit of always seeing the worst. Now, I'm one of those people too, right? It's like I'm at a pool with kids and I don't see a mom looking. It's like I am already seeing the worst possible that can happen. I'm one of those people. And in our conversation where I'm like, you are doing the same pattern over and over again, we can see the worst, but we also want to reprogram your brain to also see the good. You are not. So I threw gratitude journaling at him, and he's like, this is just dumb. I'm like, literally texted him in the morning, these are the 3 things I'm grateful for. And it was a little bit of, just like any kind of workout, right? It was a little bit of a work. And just looking at these text messages in the morning, I can tell when he's fighting, when he's having a bad day and he's fighting with it and he's just trying to find something. But it's that building the muscle of finding the good thing even in a bad day. And it's not that we are just deleting all the bad. It's just that retraining of focus when 30, 40, 50 years in his story has told him that always the worst thing happens. I'm like, yeah, because you always see the worst thing.
Yeah, and it's exactly the focus. Like it's great. Like it's great what you do. Your work is amazing, and I think understanding, that was the thing, because a gratitude journal, for gratitude writing, for example, I just couldn't find it helpful for me, right? But it helps for some people. But what happened is, when I realized, because I was walking the dog one day, and I feel this amazing, this deep gratitude, like it's just this warmth, that love. I don't know, it was probably love. I don't know how to describe the feeling, because it's really hard, because I never experienced that before. So I didn't have really language around it. But I was like, I just felt so happy. I just felt so grateful. And that was the first time when I realized, when you're writing the gratitude journal, you need to actually think about that, like feel it. You need to actually drop the thought into emotional state, right? And because when the emotion doesn't shift, your energy, your frequency, nothing shifts, and your body as well don't heal, because the thought only itself, if it doesn't evoke any emotion, it's really hard. It doesn't really change. It doesn't really stick, right? So when you're looking at rewiring the brain, how the brain rewires, it's really big emotional experience, or is emotion, right? So that's why I kind of look at that, and I always said, yes, we need new habits. So writing the journal, we need to do something, because it's about practice. And people think they come to retreat and everything changes for life for them. That's not true.
Yeah, but you're
You know
going
what I-
back into your old setup. You're
Yeah,
going back to where you came out of. You need to take these things with you
yeah.
and
And you
implement
need to
them.
practice. Absolutely, yeah. And you need practice, right? Everything starts working. Even meditation, people are, it doesn't work for me. It's like, how long you tried? Oh, it's
I'm
like
like,
1 month.
oh, so you go to the gym twice and you think you're suddenly gonna be
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan or what?
yeah, exactly. Right, perfect metaphor, right? And it's the same thing with our mind. Like we are, what, 40 years, let's say, 50
Oof.
years, we are programmed, right? We have already, I don't know, we're using Microsoft, but we need, we want new operational system. We want, I don't know, Mac or whatever we want, right? So you need to change a lot of things, but it's practicing, right? It's working on that every day,
And
because you just
that's
can't shift without that.
that's where I used to be somebody that beat myself up for falling back into old patterns, right? And I'm like, you know what? These old patterns have been there for how many years? They're gonna surface back up again. They're gonna remind me to get back into my meditation practice. They're gonna come back and remind me to also just be nice to myself. And I love, you wrote a book, Limitless Soul, which promises readers to help rewire their thinking and help them regulate their emotions and align with their purpose. What are some daily practices you recommend for emotional fitness and clarity?
Yeah, look, I will give you first very super, super simple steps. And everyone who is listening, please, if you can, take a pen and paper. It's super simple. And you can practice this every morning when you wake up. You can have pen and paper next to your bed, or you can do it during the day, anytime what works for you, because some people like that in the evening, some people like that in the morning. But the most important part is to start to understand that thought and emotion connection, right? So if you can just wake up and, first thing, write down one or two thoughts that came up first in your morning. Just be aware what you are thinking, or what you are thinking right now when you're listening. Maybe something pop up in your mind, and think about how that makes you feel. So most people in the morning, they wake up with a task list, right? Or, oh, this is all what I need to do. This, this is,
Me,
I need to call
me,
this
I
person.
feel called out. I feel called out. I'm working on it.
Well, look, it's not bad. You look quite happy person, right? But what happens is you're already putting your body in the stress. So what we don't want these ugly cortisol and adrenal hormones in our body, right? So we actually want to wake up in different state. So you just really be aware of the thoughts. So when you write a thought, look at that. If it's, already rushing, already hurry, already like thinking about the day, or is raining, oh, I don't like it. Whatever your thought is, just be honest to yourself and look at that, how that makes you feel. So when you just pause and just drop into your body and think, oh, actually, it doesn't make me feel very good, or it makes me feel like I need to rush, whatever it is, but being aware of that's the second step, understanding emotions connected with that thought. And then think about one thought you can replace every morning with. Like it can be, let's look at the magic that can happen today, right? Every day is a magic, right? Every day you can meet one person, 2 people, 10 people, and you can choose one person and tell them, I don't know, you look great today. I loved your energy, or have interaction, or, go out there and call someone. You can do whatever you want, but that magic that you will have in the morning in your mind, you will be guided by that. Like, it will actually guide you when you start to do that every morning. Like, okay, so what is the thought I want to think every morning? Maybe it's, another beautiful day. I always said another day in paradise, right? Like, we have paradise here. It's a winter. We can go to the ocean still during the winter, in the middle of the winter. It's crazy, right? So I always said, we are living in a paradise. So remind that to yourself every morning. So you choose the thought, you write it down, and then think about, or go back to your, it's almost like you put elevator into your chest and belly, and think about how that makes you feel. That today is power on you, and you can actually create something magical. Such a simple exercise done every day, I guarantee that your life will change. You will be more kind, and you will meet so many more kind people. You will pause when you see someone struggling. You will pause, and you will be so proud of yourself. You will ask questions when you see someone, because you will see people, because your hormones and neurotransmitters in the morning are changing. So you are more in stillness. You are more in a pause. It's almost like you do your accelerated meditation, right? Because you pause. It's such a beautiful feeling, and you will create that, more positive personality. And people say we can't change. Yeah, but we can.
That's where I have my coffee in the morning. It was a conversation with myself. Every time I go back to Germany, what do? I go into an Italian cafe and I get a real cappuccino, not the American thing. So what did I do? I bought my machine. I know how to manually do those. I've been in hospitality long enough in my early age. And that's my thing in the morning, with my cappuccino, with my $25 mug that I ordered from Germany, Villeroy on Boch, because I love it. I literally I'm traveling, I'm nomading with my coffee maker, with my Italian beans and my coffee, because that's my hour in the morning. That's sitting somewhere, wherever I am, with my coffee, and just time for me.
I love it. And you know what I love? That you do actually take the morning slowly, and you take your time for yourself. Because usually people are scheduled, especially here in Australia. First of all, I'm so sorry that you're living in America, because I know how coffee is there. I really struggle. But when you come to Australia, we have best coffee. So don't worry, we are obsessed with coffee. It's like, the best coffee in the world.
Oh yeah,
I think
I'm
it's
literally
really
buying Lavazza coffee to get my Italian
yeah.
coffee beans. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have the grinding the company here next to my, like 2 minutes from my house, and it's the best coffee in the area. Oh my God. So next time I will send you the beans, that you will love them. Okay, I'm going to do it. So you need to send me address. So you already doing it, right? Like, you have your pause, and you have your kind of, it's almost like you just rest and digest. Like, we are in that beautiful system, parasympathetic system, and we actually have the time to just understanding what's going on, right? And preparing for the day. But some people have gym 5 a.m., kids to school 7 a.m., like, and then drive to work for 1 hour. Like, it's a schedule, right? Because there's a lot of things going on. But I always said, just wake up 10 minutes early then, or 15. Just make the time that you have actually something for yourself, and you can pause. Because the moment you learn to pause in the morning, the pause during the day, you will master it. You will master that pause during the day, and that will skyrocket your business, that will skyrocket your life, that will change your relationships, it will change everything.
I'm like, yes. The moment I started taking time in the morning is also the moment when I realized that I didn't take any lunch breaks, and I often enough just work through. I'm like, no, we are not doing this. I'm stepping away. Oh, girl, I could go on forever, Alex. I might just gonna have to have you back on the podcast. Tell my listeners, where can they connect with you? Where can they find your book? Where can they?
Thank you so much. First, thank you so much. This is fun. I hope we can do this more, and you will come to my podcast. So I'm looking forward to it. So look, I have some podcasts. I can give you some links to my podcast. I would love to have you there as well. And I'm sure your listeners would love to listen to you on the other side. You can find me on LinkedIn. That's easy one, Alexandra Terrey. Or you can find me, find my book that I published a few months ago, limitlesssoul.com. And yeah, I don't know if you are publishing the links in the description of the episode, so I can give you some ideas. So we have so many free resources as well. I will give you some free resources page
And
as
I
well.
think we even have the direct link to your resource page. Yes, we always,
perfect.
as my listeners know, we make it easier. The links are all going to be in the description, so you can go check out Alex, go chat with her, go check out the book. Alex, I'm gonna just have to take my nomading international. I already got a couple of invites in Europe. Now I got some couple invites in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you should come.
Let's take this out of the States, and I'll let you know when I finally make my way to Australia. Alex, thank you so much for coming on. I had so much fun. And everybody, if you are not yet subscribed to the podcast, what are you doing? I'm pretty sure you're not here for the first time. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. Got it? Yeah, the German just got out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.